Hello everyone, welcome on back to Survival Challenge. Alright, so first things first, I have, one field I think we have here for spraying, so we'll be getting that done right away. We'll get the time speed turned up as well. Now, I did want to mention, because obviously it was a fairly big part of the last video, with the honey not working. From what I can tell, I went to a separate save and I was testing things, and from what I can tell, I don't know exactly when it starts, but until I want to say March or April, they do not produce honey. During the winter months they don't. Which obviously realistically does make sense. I mean, you don't take the honey from the bees during the winter. I want to say they use that for food or something. I might be wrong, but I know they use it during the winter months. So, I'm guessing that's why it's like that. Obviously, realism. I mean, it's nice to be in here, but I never even thought of that being a possibility just because I have seasonal growth off, so I kind of figured all the seasonal things would be off. Because it wasn't like that in 22, so it's just big difference for me that just doesn't quite make any sense. And maybe that explains why in other series in 25 I've done that I've had bees in, they've always not produced a ton of honey, it seemed. I bet that's why. So I do think we'll probably be placing more, which actually I might have placed. Yeah, I did place some more. I placed a bunch of big ones. So I figured, alright, well, we only have a couple of months. I'm not sure the exact, length of period. But we only have, so many months where they're actually going to be producing honey for us. So I put a big one up there. There's two big ones over there. There's still a bigger one over there. I put a bunch of the big ones. I'm hoping that produces a absolute ton of honey. Yeah, if you were having issues on your own save or map playthrough, yeah, that would definitely explain it. So I know like I said, I've had that issue in, I think it was Houton. I think I had bees in, but I didn't have that many. They never produced that much honey. I was like, that's kind of weird. Oh, whoops. I was like, that's kind of weird. And, well, I think I know why they never did. It's because they didn't for, I'm assuming it's probably 5 months. They probably stop around October, November, would be my guess. Then they start around March, April. So in theory, within next month, we'll be getting some. But that does obviously make me possibly consider rethinking my whole idea of going heavy into cereal, because I don't know if we're going to be able to produce enough honey. To be put simply, I don't know if we're going to have enough honey. Which is kind of unfortunate. But I know there was a couple new productions. I think there was one released today that looked interesting. A bunch of different new items. Maybe I'll look at that in the future, but yeah, it definitely makes me want to possibly consider something else. Not 100% on anything there. But yeah, I was planning on it being year-round. As far as I know, that's how it was in 22. It does not seem to be the case in 25. And obviously, I have, where's the water tanker at, too? I need to get the water buffalo milk put into the dairy. Yeah, obviously in the past I've never noticed it. I didn't notice it in 25 before now either. But I was also paying more attention to it than I have in the past. Right up here. Which is likely why I noticed it now. It was not something I looked at all the time before, but now it's something that I'm planning on moving over to the production, with the multi-grain production every month. And when I go and do my round of that, it's not there. It's a little bit more noticeable then. It's on the other side. So, plan on getting all the hay there picked up today. Yeah, right over here. And then I'm hoping to cut a bunch of those trees down over there. And possibly get them put into some of the sawmills. Might be a little bit of a shorter video, I'm not sure, just because obviously we're kind of in a little bit of a down period, which is kind of fitting because we just had, not that long ago, it was one after the other for harvest. But now everything's planted, and I think it's a couple of months until we have something ready again. Alright, well, I think this will be the last load I put into here. They should be good for quite a while now after this, though. They're at 123,000 liters before this load. So we what, 168,000? Might be a little bit more. Yeah, obviously the little couple hundred liters, but yeah, 168,000 liters in there. I'm not 100% sure what the capacity is. I want to say it's 200,000 liters based off of what the bar is at. I'm assuming it's that. We hit that just a little bit. Yep, 200,000. Alright, now we can worry about getting all the grass picked up and then put into the production. I do want to make sure that production is on. It is not right now. Because I know, was it last time or one other time I did this? And I didn't turn it on for a couple of months. I was like, dang, why aren't we getting any more hay? Well, yeah, it helps if you turn it on. So, you know. I don't know why this is all out here. Like, quite a bit of grass on the road. I don't remember having that issue, but... Well, I think we'll just go ahead and start time-lapse for this, so we'll get this field all finished up nice and quick. So I'll talk to everyone once the time-lapse is done. Alright, so we're just about done here. I think there's a little bit, strips here and there I'm going to try to get. Mainly missed pieces. Felt like the windrows were wider than normal. I know I'm probably wrong when I say that, but it felt like they were. I felt like I missed quite a bit, and I don't think I missed that much normally. I'm just going to try to get the larger chunks that I see. I think that's everything. I'm sure there's obviously small little bits here and there that are most definitely missed, but try to get all of it. At least most of it. What are we up to in here for grass? Over 200,000 liters. 241,000 liters of grass from that. And obviously it has been running a little bit in here, so it's probably knocked, I don't know, maybe 1,000 liters off or so. So yeah, it's quite a bit. We got quite a bit from there. We probably don't need to mow it as often as I did in between there, because obviously we have, what, 140,000 liters of hay. Then another 240,000 liters to be made into hay. Yeah, I'm probably not going to want to do too much work, because I'm at 40, I'm at 35% of our capacity right now, and I'm going to add a lot more to that. Yeah, probably won't be adding any for a little while. And obviously I have a bunch of, 167,000 liters of hay in here, so yeah, quite a bit. And the goats don't really use much. Alright, we're going to grab the semi, and I will be grabbing the flatbed. And I'm going to try to cut most, if not all of the trees there. And I'll try to evenly distribute the trees in between both of these sawmills. Like liter amount wise. The majority should be going to this one at the bottom, is my thought, but there we go. Yeah, I would like to get that done, then maybe next time we can look to get that planted. Well, at least plowed up. Maybe not planted, but we can at least get it plowed up. Because, like I said earlier, it looks like we may not have fields next month. Yeah, because these would probably be... It might be like this shade, like really dark green, maybe next month, some of these. But it'd be a couple, be a little bit until we would get there. But I would think we could maybe get it plowed up and potentially, lime spread on the field. And obviously, I've mentioned before, there's productions that we do need. So I could potentially get the sugar mill placed at some point. There's not a ton of trees here, I don't think. I mean, there's a good amount here. I'm guessing it's going to be more than one load, and that's more so just because some of these trees are fairly big. Obviously, when you got, what, this an oak? Yep, an oak. And oaks are fairly... They're pretty meaty when it comes to the liter amount that they have. That might be another oak or two over there, too. Because this is not an oak. That is a box elder. This might not be an oak either. Northern Kettlepaw? I know for a fact I'm saying that wrong. But that's an oak. American elm. Yeah, and these aren't. Yeah, we got this oak here. We can at least try to get some of these bigger ones loaded up on the first one. And I'll have to check where the liter amounts are for each of the sawmills. And like I said, I'll try to get them evenly put between. Chances are I might be adding more than what they can handle in each long term on when they could finish it out. Let's see. This one has 26,000. This one has 9,500. So they're really not that far apart. I would put one oak tree in here, and this would probably have more than this one. That should kind of give you an idea of where the oak trees are. They're probably a good 15, 20,000 liters. To be honest, they're quite a bit, so. Get this cut. Try to get the small bits and pieces cut as I go as well. the stumps and everything. Yeah, and more than likely what this field will be, obviously the goal is to put a field in here. Let me take this stump. The goal is to put a field in here, but more than likely this field will slowly lose some as there's productions and stuff, which actually on second thought, do I want to take it from this field or do I take it from the other one? The other big field. It probably depends on what the soil is up here, but based off of where this is rolling, it's probably not going to be great. So I might be better off honestly taking it from this one for productions than up here, because this would be far closer to the farm itself. That way there's less noise, if you will, in the productions. Oh, how do I have to raise this thing up just to cut it? More than likely we'll still have to split some, I'm guessing, and put them into the other sawmill. It's hard to say. There's a lot of large trees on here as well. I know there's, at least one oak tree? Then I want to say is it one of the northern ones or the American elms? One of the two. It's also on here. A lot of large trees. I would not be surprised if I see that capacity jump up to, I don't know, from 10,000 it might go up to 50? That might be a little bit high. Then when I bring the rest in, I'll probably have to do a 2 more loads is my guess. I'll probably try to do 1 tree at a time when I go to unload it. Yep, sell wood. There we go. Up to 66,000. You know what? That's a lot more than I thought it would be. Yeah, I'm probably not going to want to add too much more wood to these the rest of the way through. Because there's a chance these are going to be running by themselves whenever this would finish, which I'm trying to think, like 40 episodes, something like that. I usually end right around 100. They might be running by themselves for a little bit because I don't know if that's going to run out in time. So I have to keep that in mind in the future. Obviously, there's times when we skip months in here too, and that does knock it down a little bit, but still, it's a lot left still. But this should be the last that we'll cut. Looks like we got, what, 6 more trees to cut? So, yeah, I did want to mention, obviously, I know I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on Moss Valley. I might have mentioned it in here. But I want to say it's 2nd week of November. I have, if you've been here a long time, you probably already know, but I always am away from the computer for about a week. So I can't record. I usually try to get ahead in there. Right now, from what I can see, we're about to get stuck. Yeah. It looks like I might only have 3 that week, from what I can see. Nothing to see here. Yeah, simply put, I did not get started on getting ahead as early as I should have. I'm kind of seeing that now. I'm like, ah, dang it, but it is how the cookie crumbles. Where's the sell wood? There we go. Well, I'm up to 68,000 actually, so they're fairly even now. Yeah, just as a word of warning, I guess, there'll likely be less that week. I believe it's 2nd week of November. Something like that, so. Yeah, just so everyone is aware on that, but, yeah, then it should be back to normal after that. Obviously, there's been times in the past, randomly, you'll get a week of like 3 or 2. generally, if there's something that just randomly comes up and I can't record it enough or something like that, then I just I'll release less. That's usually how it goes. There's a lot of trees out here. Still, there might be one more load after this, actually. Well, we're almost to this one. Yeah, there's 100% one of those trees is like halfway in the ground. Don't know which one, but one of them. Oh, is that going to hit? Yep. Can I just get it put in? Up to 88,000? Oh, of course the one that I needed. That is not in the trigger. Yeah, I'll try to get this one. 110,000 liters. More likely this one's going to have a lot more than that one will. That only has 2 more trees. But, I mean, honestly, this one down here is kind of more convenient to pick up pallets for. Because all of our other productions are right down here as well. So it's nice and easy to do. Convenient for us to get to, even. It's right in the... You know, it's right amongst the other pallet goods. Alright, let's get this in here. I hope that picks it up. 93,000, so it's not a huge difference between the two. I mean, still 17,000 liters. Yeah, like I said, that is going to be a lot more wood products, and more than likely will take a very, very long time to run out. So, I mean, we do obviously have the possibility, if we wanted to sell the wood directly right from here. Could do that potentially if we wanted, but that's more of a last resort type of thing. But, oh, look at that. I hit the tree. Well, that is everything for today. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.